Good afternoon. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Economic Development and Regulatory Services Committee for today, February 5th. We've been joined by a quorum of the committee that includes Councilmember Fletcher, Ellison, Gordon, and Cunningham, which is a quorum. There are a handful of items on the consent agenda. They include the liquor license approvals and the liquor license renewals, gambling license renewals, business license operating conditions for a property in the 3rd Ward, as well as a rental license condition for a property in South Minneapolis, actually for 2 properties in South and Southeast Minneapolis. And item 8 is extending the closing date for the Alden Smith House. With that, are there any items anyone would like to pull on the consent agenda? That's items 2 through 8. Seeing none, I'll move to approve the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. I will note that we have one public hearing, which we will take first, followed by the Great Streets Facade Improvement Program funding awards, and then item number 10, which is the Upper Harbor Terminal Concept Plan approval. I will note that I, as the chair, am going to be moving to postpone the Upper Harbor Terminal Concept Plan approval for one cycle and schedule this to be on the meeting on February 19th. I want to note, and Mr. Hanson, if you have something to say on this, I'm happy to hear it, but I want to thank council members Cunningham and Ellison for having a community meeting on Sunday. There was a very good turnout at that meeting, and a lot of feedback was provided to the council members of the ward as well as the city staff and the development team. I think it would be disingenuous to move forward until we were able to absorb some of that feedback and incorporate it as possible into the plan. So the purpose of a public community listening session or a public hearing is to get feedback and then not just to go ahead and do what we were doing, but try to use that public feedback in a positive way. Therefore, I'm going to move to postpone this one cycle so that the council members, the development team, members of the community, and the community engagement groups can converse about what kinds of changes can and should be made to further improve the plan and bring it forward for our consideration on the 19th. I will note that we have some deadlines with regard to state funding as well as other deadlines that need to be made, and so time is of the essence, but there's certainly time for a 2-week postponement. So with that, I'm going to move to postpone item number 10 and reschedule it for February 19th at 1:30 time certain. Are there any comments? Councilmember Cunningham.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for making this motion. Thank you for everybody for being here today. I just wanted to say thank you to the folks who showed up to our community-based public hearing on Sunday. There was a sports ball game apparently happening that day, so thank you for such an amazing turnout. We definitely heard what was said, and also I tried really hard to work all night for the past couple nights to be able to pull together all of the amendments necessary based on the conversations that were had, and unfortunately was not able to fully achieve all of that by today. And I also wanted to incorporate it and get it out in the public so folks were able to see the amendments first before just bringing them here, so that all of that could be out in the public prior to the presentation and just continuing those conversations forward. I do have a couple of staff directions. Should I wait until we approve the postponement?
No, go ahead and add them, and then we'll move to postpone it as a group.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, and I will share this as well with the clerk. So CPED staff is directed to collaborate with community-based groups, organizations, as well as philanthropic and cross-jurisdictional partners to identify and select an organization, such as, but not limited to, Policy Link and Democracy Collaborative, to develop a racial equity framework on which the development can be based and racial equity goals can be defined, measured, and monitored within the next 6 months. Further, CPED staff is directed to work with the Upper Harbor Terminal Community Planning and Engagement Committee to, 1, review the concept plan and make any report back any amendments within the first 60 days after the first convening of the committee. The second is collaborate to develop 3 scenarios to assess for financial feasibility and environmental impact. 3, collaborate with NCR to support the committee to lead more in-depth long-term community engagement. The 4th is to support the committee's participation in and centering of deliberative democratic strategies and eco-district protocols. And the last direction is further CPED staff are directed to report back to the EDRS committee a cost-benefit analysis of keeping or replacing the warehouse currently housing Mississippi mushrooms. If possible, include this analysis in the staff direction on February 19th, 2019.
Okay, so those staff directions will come up again on the 19th, but they're out there for public consideration right now. So I will consider them friendly to the motion to postpone. So this would include the staff directions. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll then move on to item number 1, which is our public hearing. Mr. Hanson, welcome.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, my name is Eric Hansen. I'm the Director of Economic Policy and Development for the City of Minneapolis, and I'm up here for Linda Roberts, who's our interim license manager, who couldn't make it today to introduce this next item. And I want to bring up the lead inspector for this application, Mohammed Ismail, to introduce it and go through the questions that you have. So at the end of the presentation and the public hearing, if you have any questions for he or I, we'll be happy to answer them.
Mr. Ismail, welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair and committee members. I present an application from Seed Café owned by Moksha Yoga Minneapolis LLC. Their address is 3252 West Lake Street in Ward 7. The current license is an on-sale wine with a strong beer, Class C. The applicant is requesting an upgrade for an on-sale liquor Sunday sales with no live entertainment. The Seed Café has been operating at this location since November 2018. There is a slightly change for their hours of operation. It's just that the licensee told me that the hours will be Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Sundays will be 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's less than what we had before. They have an indoor seating for 50 seats and outdoor for 10 on a private property. On January 17th, the public hearing notices were sent to residents and property owners within 600 feet of the premises. Multi-buildings were posted. Notices were also sent to Zero Isles Dean Neighborhood Associations, Calhoun Area Resident Action, the Lake Street Council, and Council Member Lisa Goodman. We have not received any comments from the community. Seed Café is located in the Calhoun Square Shopping Center. Although both 311 and Minneapolis calls were received from the shopping center, Seed Café has not had any complaints, 311 or police reports, and they do not have any operating conditions for their license. License and Consumer Service Division recommends approval for on-sale liquor with Sunday sales with no live entertainment. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. Are there any questions for Mr. Ismail? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have a question on this?
I didn't have a question. I just had a quick comment of, while I very much so enjoy Linda Roberts giving the report, it was very nice to be able to hear the report from Mr. Ishmael here. I get to see your name on the reports quite often, so it's very nice to have you present today.
Thank you.
And so, we're moving in that direction of the license inspectors giving the reports.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Through the
So
chair.
we'll open the public
Thank you.
hearing on item number 1, which is an on-sale liquor with Sunday sales for the Seed Café. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Hi, come on up.
How are you?
Good. Excited for you.
I'm Phil Doucette, one of the owners of Seed Cafe and our yoga studio next door. And we just wanted to take advantage of this upgrade opportunity and just offer a few different cocktails at brunch and stuff, but we're not expanding hours or trying to do anything crazy.
You could have longer hours, actually.
We could, yeah, we have the license till 12 or something, but it's not needed for us. But we just want to provide some other, opportunities for us to grow in that way.
Great. Well, thank you so much for everything you do. It's a great operation.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and I will move approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move to our remaining item, which is item number 9, which are Great Streets Facade Improvement Grant Program funding awards.
Good afternoon,
Good
Madam
afternoon.
Chair and committee members. I'm Judy Moses with the CPED Business Development. Presenting a recommendation to authorize staff to execute agreements with 8 community organizations who will administer the Great Streets Facade Improvement Grant Program. The total amount of funding recommended is $320,000. The Great Streets program was created in 2007 to promote vibrant commercial districts. The program has 3 parts: the real estate redevelopment gap loans, business district support grants, and the facade improvement matching grants. The facade grants are the subject of this report. The facade program improves the appearance of buildings in commercial districts, making them more inviting areas to walk and shop. As a matching grant, the program provides an incentive to businesses to improve their buildings and storefronts. The types of improvements range from items such as paint, signage, awnings, to larger scale rehab, which might include tuck pointing, new windows and doors. In 2018, the program funded 99 projects that leveraged $770,000 in private funds. During the program's 11-year history, we have assisted 922 projects worth nearly $9 million in property investment. In October, we issued the annual RFP and received proposals from 8 organizations. Those organizations who administer the grants are responsible for marketing the program, assisting the business owners with the application process, keeping records, and tracking each award. They also review the applications for eligibility and provide the city with the required documentation. Staff is recommending funding to all 8 organizations, and these new awards would join 7 existing agreements from prior years, which serve other areas of the city. In addition, CPED staff will continue to serve the support and intervene areas of Great Streets that do not have a community partner administering the program. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions for Judy on her report? Councilmember Cunningham.
Thank you so much for your report. Could you please just help clarify why Camden Town Business and Area Coalition was not awarded the full 50 that was requested?
In the application, one of the questions that we ask is based on the amount of businesses that they've spoken with that might be interested in applying. There was not a lot of information there, and they are an organization that's still kind of in the beginning stage of forming, and they have submitted their application along with the West Broadway Coalition. So it is an annual program that we put it out there for review each year. So if they have, gone through their funding, they are welcome to apply again, just as many of the other organizations do. But it was just the number of nodes that are in the area and the amount of funding that we think they could distribute in the time period was the reasoning.
Great, thank you. I'm very passionate about being able to support our commercial stock and improving it. And as you mentioned, there's a lot of nodes, but not many corridors. And
Correct.
so that's really where we're going to have the opportunity to develop and get some activation in the community. The Fourth Ward doesn't have a lot of commercial spaces. And so we do have quite a few nodes, and I'm excited to see what the work looks like with Camden Town, as this is a new organization, and looking forward to supporting them, and hopefully we'll be able to see some improvements and excitement and get more next year. So thank you.
Further comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll move approval and thank you for your work on this. And it's really been a good use of funds over a long period of time. The fact that we don't have hundreds of applications probably says everyone has a little bit of something, and they're out there working on various projects at this time. Further comments or questions? Seeing none on the motion to approve, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item is approved. Seeing no further business before us, we are adjourned.